In MongoDB, you can have a key that holds an array. Like, for instance, you can have a tags key that holds cycling, tennis, and football. And you can index tags. So you can call ensure index, and you can tell the database that you want the tags key to be indexed. Now, if you do that, what MongoDB does is it creates what's called a multi-key index. Now, what a multi-key index is that rather than create one index point for each document, if it sees an array in the document, it will create an index point for every item in the array. So that if we do a find where cycling is in tags, then it will be fast because it's able to use the index. And that only happens if it's an array. That's called a multi-key index. Now you can create a compound index. For instance, I can create a compound index on tags colon color or something, and that works just fine, right? But Mongo restricts the queries. You cannot have two items in a document that are both arrays if it's a multi-key index. Now, this is all dynamic, right? So when you first create an index on two things, MongoDB doesn't know whether or not there's going to be arrays in those items. So it's when you insert the items that it will stop you from inserting them if they're both arrays, if they're multi-keys. And the reason is because of the polynomial explosion that you'd have of index points if they were both every single time you added and subtracted something from the array. If we allowed you to index a compound index where both items were arrays. So let me maybe make this more concrete by showing you some of the stuff in the shell. So I'm going to just use the test database here, and I'm going to actually start by creating a collection. I'm going to insert something into the collection. I'll call the collection BBB. I inserted into BBB A and B being 1. And I can now, if I want, I can create an index for that. Now at this point, I just have a standard compound index. But what if I tried to insert something into the index where it was an array, which I can do. So now I'm going to insert A is 1, 2, 3. Now at this point, it's a multi-key index. And I can also insert something where, let's say, B is 1, 2, 3. So now A is going to be 5 in this case, and B is going to be the array 1, 2, 3. Oh, little extra colon there. There we go. So that all works just fine. And there's an index in here, and you can see it. If you call get indexes, you'll see the index that we created. So there's the index that we created on A and B. But if I try to insert something where both A and B are an array into this multi-key index, the database will cry foul. It will not allow that. Cannot index into parallel arrays B and A. So there's this concept of a multi-key index inside MongoDB. It's dynamic. It doesn't really know there's going to be array values in any given key. But if you start adding arrays into a key, it's fine. If it's part of an index, it'll create an index point for every item in the array. But you can't do it for parallel arrays, as it calls it, if more than one value is an array in a compound index. Okay, it is time for a quiz. Suppose we have a collection foo that has an index created as follows: db.foo ensure index a1 b1. Which of the following inserts are valid to this collection? And I won't go through them because they're a little bit detailed, but figure out which one of these are valid for the collection.